What is up, members of my collector corps? It is I, Super Mario Zilla, or you could call me Vinny, and today we are going to take a look at the S.H.Figuarts Spider-Man new red and blue suit from the movie Spider-Man No Way Home. Announced a little while after the movie's release came Spider-Man in his gorgeous new red and blue suit. I'm serious, I love this design, and to get it in figure form is awesome. MSRP clocks in at $85, so to see it less than $100 is surprising, and many collectors were excited to get this figure since it's Spider-Man's latest and greatest costume in the MCU. There's plenty of reason to be excited. And when collectors got the figure in hand, everyone loved the figure and even said it may be the best Spider-Man figure arts on the market, maybe even one of the best Spider-Man figures period. So that's pretty awesome. Where do I stand? Well, let's not waste any more time and see if this figure is worthy of a spot on your Spider-Man shelf. Alright, where do I begin? This figure looks awesome. I'm serious, this figure looks great. The colors are so good and he pops like no one's business. The red is bright and vibrant and the blue is a beautiful metallic blue and it shines great and makes this figure pop on the shelf. And the paint job is super clean. The figure's look is to die for. The web lines are all sculpted and feature some paintwork on them as well. Thank God, I was so worried that they left them with no paint. Sculpt work is also well done. There really isn't anything I can complain about. One thing I will point out is the spider logo on the chest is not gold, so that's not accurate, but, however, I think this works in the figure's favor. Having it black just looks better. So I do believe that's a happy accident. Spider-Man features a fair amount of muscle and he looks awesome. This is definitely a Spider-Man-esque build. And the best part is that this doesn't necessarily have to be limited as a movie Spider-Man. You can totally pass him off as a classic-looking comic book Spider-Man. I do have one complaint, and that's the back logo. They put another logo underneath the joint. They didn't extend the lower legs of the spider. There's literally another spider underneath the joint. So when you crunch the figure forward, it looks incredibly awkward. That does not look good at all. Just imagine seeing this and you confuse it for an actual spider. Of course I'm joking, I'm the only one who's that dumb. So the figure again looks fantastic, besides the issue with the back logo. I can't complain much about the rest of the figure, he looks really solid. Overall, I think Spider-Man looks amazing. Hey, that pun wasn't intended. Spider-Man looks great and definitely matches the value of his price point in this regard.
Spider-Man's articulation is not Figuarts standard, but it's standard for Spider-Man Figuarts. So that means articulation is pretty good. Let's see what he's got. Head is on a double ball peg, and neck is on a ball joint, so he can look pretty much all the way up. He can look not very far down. He can lean and look side to side. Shoulders are on ball joints. There's a bit of a butterfly joint. Shoulders can hinge upward way more than 90 degrees, so that's pretty good. Can also rotate. Biceps can swivel. Double hinged elbows can go all the way. And ball hinge wrists. There's a ball joint here and here, so he can crunch forward. Just about this far forward, which is pretty good. And he can crunch backward. Just about this far back, which again is pretty good. And there's a lot of lean and rotation. Actually, there isn't much side to side lean, so be careful with that. But he can still rotate, usually on the top part of the torso, not the bottom. So do be mindful of that. The bottom part cannot really rotate that much. The top part can, so do be aware of that. Legs, he can kick forward just about this far forward, although he can get more dynamic poses if you position the legs that way. Backward, all the way, and splits. He can do the splits with no problem. Thighs can swivel. Double hinge knees. Can go about all the way. And swivel hinged ankles. Can go this far back. This far forward. And ankle rocker is awesome. And toes are on a hinge. So Spider-Man's articulation is on point. There's nothing extraordinary or special to talk about here. It's just standard good old Spider-Man articulation. You can still get him in plenty of poses with no trouble. So, yeah, pretty cool. Articulation is the standard for Spider-Man Figuarts figures, so yeah, I don't really have any issues with it. Articulation is good. Very good.
For accessories, Spider-Man has everything he needs. Nothing extra, but I think for the price point, it's just fine. First is the tool for the back of Spider-Man to reveal a peg hole for a Tamashii stage. And you can peg in a peg hole for said Tamashii stage. The figure doesn't come with one, so that's unfortunate. Spidey this time has alternate heads. He has a default head, and he has a head with the eye lenses that are more squinted. For the hands, he has 2 fist hands, 2 gripping hands for the web line, 2 splayed out open hands, 2 wall crawling hands, and finally 2 web thwarping hands for the web shots. We have 1 small web shot and 1 long web shot. These go on the wrist peg with the thwarping hands on. And lastly, for accessories is a web line for Spider-Man to swing on. And that's it. Nothing major for accessories. It's just the important accessories that Spider-Man needs. No unmasked head though, but thanks to previous Tom Holland Spider-Man releases, we kind of didn't need it. I can't really think of anything else Bandai could have included, besides an unmasked head. We got everything we need here. Here's a size comparison with other figures you may or may not own. Spider-Man is a standard size Figuarts, so no issue in the scale department. Though keep in mind, he'll scale well with other MCU figures, not so much for other Spider-Verse figures. So Spider-Man is a great release. I can see why other collectors say this is one of the best Spider-Man figures on the market. The colors are beautiful, the articulation is well done, and the accessories are standard for Spider-Man figures. Spider-Man doesn't really have anything wrong with him besides the issue with his back logo, but that's it. That's the only one issue, at least for me. Spider-Man rocks, and I'll also say, yes, this is one of the best Spider-Man figures on the market. This is an excellent release, and like I said earlier in the review, he's not restricted to being an MCU Spider-Man. Thanks to his design, he can absolutely pass as a comic version of Spider-Man, which means he is useful for so many other display options besides movie displays. So that's awesome, and I think that gives the figure a few more merits. This figure gets a 9.5 out of 10 for me, an all-around excellent release that's still on the market right now. His MSRP is $85, so that's awesome that he doesn't cost an arm and a leg. So I would get this while you can before it's too late. I give him a high recommendation.